At Lincoln's presidential cottage in Washington, D.C., and Kaylee Hawkins is going to tell us about an unexpected visitor that President Lincoln had here once from England.
Yeah, we're sitting here in the drawing room, and this is actually one of my favorite rooms here in the cottage, primarily because of a particular visitor that came here to see President Lincoln in 1864. This particular man was from England. His name was George Borett, and Mr. Borett came totally unannounced to see President Lincoln. He tried down at the White House and heard that Lincoln was already out here at his cottage. By the time Borett got here, it was late in the evening, and interestingly, President Lincoln was getting ready for bed. His household staff got him. He came down into this room, walked through these double doors, and came in and greeted Mr. Borett. What's really interesting about this story, I think, is that perhaps one of the most, the major motivation for George Borett in coming here was because he was kind of skeptical of President Lincoln. You know, in England, if you're born poor, you stay poor. But here literally was a man who held the highest position in the United States of America. He was President of the United States, who had been born poor but had risen up the ladder of society from a very poor young man to President of the United States. I think this was really surprising to Mr. Borett, and I think he sort of had to come here to see this man for himself. So even though he was skeptical, as they started talking, Lincoln told him about his early life. He told him about his struggles. He told him about his belief that all men should have this right to rise, this right to through hard work and determination, rise up the ladder, just as he had done. And I think that's one of the really special and unique things about Abraham Lincoln, and I think it's one of those stories where you can really feel Lincoln in this house and feel his character.
Because one of the reasons why Lincoln liked to come to this cottage, though, is that there were a lot of supplicants and people who wanted favors and things of that nature who would sort of besiege him at the White House. But up here it was a little quieter. He did get fewer people like that up here, right?
Absolutely. He got fewer people, but they certainly came. And that was one of the I think the parts of this position that he held that he could not escape.
Mm-hmm. And he actually, on his morning commutes and whatnot, he actually would stop and talk to soldiers and things. He didn't mind mixing with regular people.
Right.
And
Absolutely not. Lincoln, in fact, I think he used his commute. We have several stories that suggest that when Lincoln's cavalry would arrive here to pick him up to ride with him downtown, they would get here sometimes and find that he was already gone. And I think that really speaks to the fact that this was a time that was important to Lincoln, because it was a time that he could use to talk to people.
So security in those days was light,
yes,
to say the least.
Absolutely.
Not like today. Has President Obama been here for a visit?
He has not. He has not. We're still hopeful and certain that he would love what he finds when he gets here.
Have other U.S. presidents visited here,
Yes.
though?
Yes.